Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here for weatherweb.net. It's the look ahead video today on Thursday the 8th of October. Thanks for watching. Now, start off with a look at the satellite picture from this Thursday afternoon. You can see the remnants of the front that brought all the rain to the British Isles yesterday. It's out over the North Sea towards Norway, extending down in towards central parts of Europe. Out then in the Atlantic, this cloud here spilling into the picture is the approaching former Hurricane Joaquin that's going to take a track somewhere down towards Biscay and northwest Spain in towards this weekend. Across Britain then we've got areas of cloud around this afternoon, fairly well broken. There's some sunshine that's been around, and I think that similar story on again into Friday. I'm just going to have a look through the week-by-week steps off the latest CFS model. Then this week one goes through from the 8th to the 14th, shows the 500 millibar height anomalies, which gives us a good steer for the surface pressure situations. Higher than normal heights then are away over Scandinavia. This chart just needs to tilt your head around a bit to see the British Isles. We're under here. But those higher than normal heights, what we're seeing at the moment, the high pressure towards the north, at lower heights across the near continent, across France, with lower pressure generally in that part of the world, continuing this next 6 or 7 days forwards. Moving that through into week two, the 15th to the 21st of October, and the CFS keen to keep higher heights away towards the north and northwest of Britain, so very much still blocked out in that respect, with the pressure much higher in this part of the world. Lower heights, lower pressure though towards the south of the country, and keeping us in what will be a rather northeasterly flow, quite a cool pattern then still suggested right through that period, and any hints of a breakdown during that time looking only very tentative, as just a few areas of showers coming through at times, but just need to watch the far south of England picking up on some areas of rain if that low, cut-off low towards the south just spins round and gets a bit more active, so the south of the country may not be completely immune from some rain, whilst more northern areas generally looking drier. And that pretty much being backed up on the European GFS models. This is at days 7 to 10, then the mean 500 millibar flow for that period. So you're looking at around Friday to Sunday to around the 17th of October. European on the left, GFS on the right, and both showing that strong block, strong area of higher heights towards the west of Britain and areas of cut-off low pressure to the south of that and also over continental Europe. So all in pretty much a good agreement in that time period. Through to week 3 on the CFS, and the 22nd to the 28th of October shows higher heights still away towards the northwest, nearer towards Greenland, lower heights over Scandinavia, so the risk of pulling down quite a cool northerly flow at this stage then across the North Sea, and maybe also influencing much of eastern Britain. Lower heights over the mid-Atlantic showing any lows tracking more into this sort of zone rather than coming more straight towards us, so still quite blocked out towards the northwest according to the CFS at least. Now, a bit of a change around by the time we go through the 29th through the 4th of November, and lower heights becoming much more established across the Atlantic by this stage, then bringing back the jet stream and bringing back a westerly flow by this time, the higher heights collapsing away towards the south and also more away towards the west of Greenland by this time. So just the risk of a real breakdown towards the end of the month. I think that's sort of indicated on some of our long-range forecasts that we've been looking at of that breakdown coming in. I suspect it may come in a little bit earlier than that model suggesting, so it's more into that final sort of 5 or 6 days of October, the risk of going properly broken and wet and windy side of autumn finally showing its hand after what looks like then a fairly settled month. And just to compare that with the charts that I showed you a few weeks ago, with some of my winter ideas that I put out at the end of September. Many of you have watched that video here at weatherweb.net. It's also still on our YouTube channel if you haven't seen it yet. That was some of my thoughts going through the winter as well from the analogue patterns that I've had a look at. And this was October as a whole, and showing higher than normal heights broadly in charge across Western Europe, the British Isles. So that may end up doing pretty well if this next 10-day period or so stays with generally higher pressure. Just to run you through the bigger picture across Europe then through this next week or 10 days or so, just to skim through some of the highlights that we've got. Here's the situation at the moment for Thursday. So we'll run that through a few days. The big low in the Atlantic north of the Azores is the remnants of Joaquin, then that'll drift towards northwestern parts of Spain. High pressure very much still over Scandinavia, a cool northerly pattern being dragged down into western Russia, bringing much colder air here. That low then being developed over Italy ahead of the Joaquin system, going to bring some heavy rain into Italy and the Balkans through the weekend on into the beginning part of next week, while Spain and Portugal sees unsettled weather from Joaquin. Move that through then into early next week. We've got the northeasterly flow across the country. The high has got two separate centres really, one over Scandinavia, one to the west of the British Isles there, and a bit of a jet stream towards the northwest, with front trying to skirt towards northwest Scotland as we go further into next week. This is around Tuesday then on into Wednesday. Front's gradually trying to get in, but as you can see, most of the rain is confined to the south of Europe and Britain, northern France, northern Germany, very much in drier weather through until Wednesday. This chart then moving further towards the end of the week around Thursday. High pressure still centred roughly around towards the west. Of course, we'll keep an eye on the model details for this one by this stage, but a generally still quite cool pattern over Britain, with the flow just changing around from a northeasterly more towards a northwesterly with time, maybe slightly milder later on in the week, particularly southern regions, as that northeasterly just eases away somewhat. Now towards next weekend, the high then still quite close to hand, centred out towards the west of the country, a few areas of showers drifting southwards, but you can see most of the rain still more towards the south of Europe on the whole. So I think some quite cool nights ahead for some of those more sheltered areas, especially near to the centre of the high. There'll be some slight frost overnight and some mist and fog as well. But those of you who are across eastern England, be prepared for quite a few cool days with that breeze coming off the North Sea, some drizzly damp conditions at times, but really small amounts of rainfall almost everywhere this next 7 days or so, maybe even further ahead than that. We'll bring you all the very latest though here at weatherweb.net in the days ahead, and don't forget the fast forecast with the full details for your next 2 or 3 days going forwards. That's all for today, thanks for watching and bye for now.